My name is Erika Sanborn. I'm with WIFF as the Director of Marketing and Communications. Today, I'm very excited that we are going to be discussing the nominees for the 97th Academy Awards. They were just announced this morning with Bowen Yang and Rachel Sennett, and excited to welcome Vincent Georgie, our Executive Director and Chief Programmer, to join me in conversation today. Hey, Vincent.
Morning, Erika.
How's it going?
Good, exciting morning. What a way to kick off.
It definitely was. Yeah, boost of energy this morning for sure.
Definitely.
So tell us, what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good nomination list overall. I thought the Academy did well. You've seen the nomination leaders with Emilia Perez with 13, and then The Brutalist and Wicked with 10. It's a high watermark for Emilia Perez. That's a lot of nominations. But no, I think the Academy did a good job. It's an exciting list. I was really happy to see WIFF films do really well. We landed 33 nominations for films seen at WIFF, so we're very proud of that, especially for our closing night film Conclave, which received 8 nominations, including Best Picture. We're thrilled by that. And our Leona People's Choice Award. We always say our audience knows best, and they picked Honora, and then the Academy nominated it this morning with 6 nominations. So that's a really good one, and a lot of good films in other categories as well that we're seeing at WIFF that our audience got to see in many cases ahead of time. We're really thrilled about.
And for both of those, it includes Best Picture, which is always great to be included on that list. Get a couple of points. I also just wanted to mention those nominations. We have 33, and that doesn't include any of the short films that were nominated this morning, but we will be showing those in February. So everyone keep your eyes out. We'll be announcing tickets and showtimes very soon. We hope that you'll come and join us for some really great short films that will be featured at the Oscars. Yeah,
so the doc shorts, the animated shorts, the live action shorts, and it's a really great tradition. We pilot tested last year and got great feedback and excitement around that. So yeah, excited to do those ones.
And there's another film I know you were very excited to see included on the list this morning.
Yeah, so I'm Still Here, which is the Brazilian film. The actress that won the Golden Globe for Best Actress Drama, Fernanda Torres, she received a Best Actress nomination today. The film also got nominated for Best International Feature, which was expected, but in a real stunner, it also got a Best Picture nomination, which if anyone out there was betting on that, congrats. You're smarter than everybody I've ever met, because no one was predicting that. It's a really good choice because the film was excellent. So we are really happy that those nominations are happening. Why? Because back a couple of months ago, we had invited that film to come join us for WIFF Presents. So that film will be at WIFF Presents later in February as well, before the Oscars. So definitely come check this out. This is a film now with a lot of buzz and momentum because it was such a surprise Best Picture nominee. And also, again, Fernando Torres, after she won the Golden Globe, people are excited to see that film. So you'll be able to see it with us in February.
Yeah, for any completists.
Yeah, exactly.
Time with us this February.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into, we're going to be discussing just a handful of the categories this morning, and we'll kick it off with Best International Feature. Yeah, so
the films that were nominated this morning, so Emilia Perez representing France, Flow, which is at WIFF this year, from Latvia, The Girl with the Needle from Denmark, I'm Still Here from Brazil, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig coming to us from Germany. Solid list of nominations, not too surprising. Disappointed, of course, that Canada's submission Universal Language was not nominated. It should have been. It was excellent. But this is a solid list. It's impossible not to look at Emilia Perez as being the front runner. But what I'd say with the new momentum around I'm Still Here from Brazil, I would wonder if there could be a sneak surprise from that film because it's so good. But overall, these 5 nominees are really good choices. It's hard to criticize this list of 5 in my view.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It would have been nice to see Universal Language included there. I loved that film, and I'm proud to have shown it last fall. And it was nominated for the WIFF Prize in Canadian Film as well last year. I was very excited to see The Girl with the Needle. I was able to catch that at the festival, and wow, what a film. It's so affecting. It's very dark, so it's definitely not an easy recommendation for a lot of people, but that was one that definitely was a standout for me. So
it's extremely well made. The making of that film is incredible. Tough watch, but incredible.
Very tough. Yeah.
And also I'm happy to have had The Seed of the Sacred Fig as well. I mean, that film, the fact that film even exists, this is the film where the Iranian filmmaker had to flee Tehran and escape to Germany to even for his life, let alone to get the film released and that. So that's a strong film. I don't quite see it winning, but the nomination, I think the nomination for that film probably be the reward.
Definitely. So getting into Best Documentary Features, We have Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane.
Mm-hmm.
A handful of those were also at WIFF this year.
3 of them. Yeah, Black Box Diaries, Porcelain War, and Sugarcane were all at WIFF. Really proud of those docs. I mean, they're there for a reason. They're absolutely excellent. Recently saw Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, very, very strong as well. Really nicely done. And No Other Land is really powerful as well. Again, 5 solid choices. You know, there's not a bad film in there. I'd say right now the front runner is very, very likely No Other Land. That's really where the attention is at. But in terms of merit, any of these 5, if they're holding the Oscar on Oscar night, I think it's a good choice. They're really strong.
And No Other Land, I believe, is still looking for its U.S. distributor, correct?
They've got someone actually right now. They're sort of figuring something out, but it's a little bit messy. So you're not wrong on that. They're just getting themselves settled because a lot of people, there's some trepidation around how to distribute that film, and they're getting some celebrity executive producers and that sort of situation. But that film will, now with its Oscar nomination for sure, it will see its release.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see that go a little wider. I've heard such great things about it, and hopefully some of these other documentaries as well. I know Sugarcane is available on digital, but a handful of the others, we definitely need to get that out on screens for people to catch.
Definitely. So why don't we look at Best Supporting Actress? So let's take a look there. So the nominees for Best Supporting Actress are Monica Barbaro from A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande from Wicked, Felicity Jones from The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini from Conclave, and Zoe Saldana from Emilia Peretz. This was a bit of a, the list is good. It was a messier category because there was 2 clear frontrunners, one in Zoe Saldana and one in Ariana Grande. And then the rest of the category is considered somewhat open. So there's so many different options that could have landed. But I think this landed well. Isabella Rossellini walks off with, her small part in Conclave. She just steals every scene she's in. She's just terrific. And I believe she's 73. It's her first Oscar nomination. Really happy to see that happen for her because it's deserved. Monica Barbaro was another scene stealer in A Complete Unknown. People didn't know who she was in the film, but portraying with Joan Baez, people were wondering, she's excellent. Who is this actress? I'm happy to see that nomination. And Felicity Jones' Brutalist, really good performance. She's in the second half of that film, so it tells me that people watched the whole thing. Good list overall. There's buzz maybe would Jamie Lee Curtis get in for The Last Showgirl, and that didn't happen. But the list overall, I think if you'd asked me, I would have put Mark Qualley in here from The Substance. I think she deserved a nomination.
Absolutely.
And that you could even argue that part is almost a co-lead to Demi Moore. But this is certainly a defensible list, no doubt about it. Zoe Saldana right now is definitely the overall front runner. And I don't really see that changing. I think she'll be holding an Oscar on Oscar night, but it's a solid group of nominees. Erika, what about you? Thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid list. I know, especially with Zoe's win at the Golden Globes just a few weeks ago, people are really excited about her win and her performance specifically in the film. I'm really excited to see The Brutalist because it's finally gone wide in Canada this weekend. So I will be catching up with that, and I can then comment on Felicity Jones.
There you go.
But overall, I think it's great. I think probably for me as well, Monica Barbaro would be my favorite pick out of this. I thought that she stood out so nicely in the film, and I'm really excited to see her get this nomination at this point in her career.
No, agreed. And I'll say, going into Wicked, I had no understanding of Ariana Grande at all. Just her music career is not sort of my world. She's spectacular. She's absolutely spectacular. Like, good for her. It's a great performance. Really well done.
Right, into Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
Have Yura Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
I mean, for me, Jeremy Strong is the showboat in that category by a mile. I thought that was the supporting performance of the year. So I'm happy to see it nominated. He's not going to win. I think that's unfortunate because for me, it's actually no contest. I think that one's the clear wow of the category. I'm happy he's nominated. Kieran Culkin is fantastic in A Real Pain, no doubt. You could also argue that's maybe a co-lead. That could have been in lead actor, perhaps. And I'm happy to see Yura Borisov nominated from Honora. For me, I would have had 3 Honora nominees in this category. I would have had him and Mark Eidelstein, who plays the boyfriend in the film, and then Karen Karagulian, who plays the Hungarian gangster in the film. I would have had them all nominated. I thought Honora was the best ensemble there. I would have loaded this category with Honora nominees. I could have done without Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown. I don't think that's a special performance at all. I'm happy to see Guy Pearce. He's very good in the film, and I'm happy to see that happen more as almost a career achievement because he's been good for so long. But for me, this category would have been ideally 3 people from Honora plus Kieran Culkin, and then the winner being Jeremy Strong. Edward Norton, I don't see why that nomination is happening.
Yeah, we're definitely agreeing on all fronts here.
Yeah,
I'm very excited to see The Apprentice on this list at all. I wasn't expecting it with an American awards. But I'm thrilled at that. I think Jeremy Strong is so strong in his role. And really excited. I hope that more people will seek out that film despite its content, which I know has been.
And Erika, you brought up a good point of people even seeing it. And I think this is where it shows us how much more of the voting body for the Academy Awards are not in the US. That there's much more significant international voters, where I think that's really where these nominations are being supported, especially for the Apprentice. And I've got to say, post WIFF 2024, arguably the film that people still talk to me about the most of how much they liked is The Apprentice. It's a film that really stuck with people, how much they enjoyed it, how thought it was funny, and thought it was well done. But glad this is a nomination for him.
It's a great one. I've been recommending it a lot for sure.
100%. All right.
To Best Actress.
Yeah, let's look at Best Actress. So this year's nominees are Cynthia Erivo from Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon from Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison from Honora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernando Torres for I'm Still Here. I remember years and years ago where the Best Actress race could be so slim and lacking for quality lead female roles that it was actually embarrassing. This year, you could have had 2 full lists of Best Actress nominees and you'd be fine. Like, Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, Angelina Jolie for Maria. The other one too, that this is where there's always a divide between the critics and the Academy voters. Arguably the best lead performance of the year is Marianne Jean-Baptiste in Hard Truths. She's unbelievable in the film, but that was a film that I just don't know that they knew how to campaign for. She should be here, and she's not. She deserves to be. But these 5 nominations are pretty terrific. I've got to admit, considering how good the crop was, how good the field of contenders were, I actually would have left Cynthia Erivo and Carla Sofia Gascon off the list. I think they're very good, but considering that Marianne Jean-Baptiste or Nicole Kidman are not here, I would have substituted them in my own taste, but they're still good nominations. I don't think Cynthia Erivo is that special in that role, in my view. Demi Moore, I think clearly the front runner right now for Momentum off the Globes. And that's, last year when that film was at Cannes, did anyone ever think that she's going to be a front runner for an Oscar? I think most people would have thought it. So that's pretty tremendous. Mikey Madison plays Honora. She is Honora. She's that whole film. I think it's really something else. And also Fernando Torres, after that Golden Globe win, anyone who watches that film is going to be knocked out by her. There is no doubt. So this is a very, very competitive category. And again, there's 5 very good nominees. I probably would have substituted in and out a couple, but it's a solid list. I hope people don't underestimate, just because of her youth, how exceptional Mikey Madison is in Honora.
I think she's definitely been at the top of a lot of conversations going into awards season. I know people were pretty disappointed after the Globes that they didn't take anything home then. But she's definitely, I think, excuse me, still really at the top of people's minds. And it'll be interesting to see, like, in between now and March 2nd, how that conversation develops around her. I'm very happy to see Demi Moore for The Substance.
Absolutely.
When I saw that film at TIFF last year, I absolutely loved it. It's definitely pushing the limits, and it's not a film for everyone, which makes me even more happy to see it recognized in a handful of categories this morning. So
100%. Yeah, agreed.
All right, so getting into Best Actor, we have Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. There's my second Apprentice mention.
Yeah, I've got to say that would have been my 5. I was thrilled. This is, in my view, bang on. These are the 5 that should be here. the person that got it maybe under the wire is probably Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice, and I'm really happy that happened because he's so good in that film. He was also excellent in the film A Different Man, which also played at WIFF this year. That's well deserved, no doubt. The 5 of these guys are great. Coleman Domingo and Sing Sing is incredible, and that film, I think if distributed and campaigned differently, would have had way more nominations, because anyone that sees Sing Sing loves it. It's a film that can draw a lot of passion, but I'm glad to see Coleman get in, but it didn't get a lot of nominations this morning. This is a great list. If I were predicting who I think will take it right now, I'd probably say Timothée Chalamet. I think there's a lot of momentum. I mean, Complete Unknown got 8 nominations this morning, and that film played very well over the holidays. I think the timing of its release is very good. It's a film that people are excited about. Ralph Fiennes in Conclave is the moral center of that whole film. It's an excellent performance. He also hasn't been nominated since 1996 for the English Department. Like, it's been a long time coming. Adrian Brody's exceptional, and I'm also not a fan of Every Kid Gets a Trophy. Adrian Brody has won before. He is exceptional at a film. If he wins again, I'm fine with that, because he's amazing in it. Really strong category. Like, and no real surprises here, but I'm happy to see Sebastian Stan get in, because that's well deserved, and also, the more you think of it, just risky having even taken on that performance.
Absolutely. Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Sebastian Stan as The Apprentice. I knew I was going to like the film. From the second I put it on, the style of it, everything was drawing me in. But the way that he physically embodies the character is so impressive to me. So I'm really excited that he's included here, and happy that you mentioned A Different Man too. Those were both such physical roles that came out last year, and he did such a great job in both of them. So happy to see him be acknowledged here. And then also he got his Golden Globe for A Different Man weeks ago.
If we didn't have the rule that only 1 nomination per person, I would have been fine if he'd received 2 nominations.
Absolutely.
It's 2 fantastic lead performances, but great category here. Great. No matter who's standing on stage, well done.
Yeah. And then I just want to mention Coleman Domingo. I'm so happy to see him here too. I know that film was released really, really late in 2023, and then a little bit in theaters at the beginning of 2024. So I'm happy that it's found its way back into the conversation this year. Coleman Domingo, I think, is just an excellent actor, but also such a class act in the way that he speaks and the way that he talks about this project specifically, the enthusiasm and passion that he came in with it. And the fact that, like, it's a profit shared film. He worked with people from Sing Sing and put this on. I know it was back in theaters in some places for a little bit. So I'm very happy to see that.
It's a great one, and also an easy recommendation for anyone that has not seen Sing Sing. Run and watch that film, because you're gonna love it. It's a really impactful, touching. That's a film you can really get passionate about, and that's why I wish if they'd handled the campaign for that film maybe differently. It's hard for me to imagine it could not have been something that got 10 nominations.
Right.
Because I've not met anybody that's seen it and didn't feel very passionate about it. I think it's a question of getting people to make sure they've seen it. Yeah. So let's look at Best Director. So this year's nominees for Best Achievement in Directing are Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, and Coralie Farja for The Substance. Solid list. I'm very happy to see Coralie Farja here, because for me, the Substance is absolutely about the directorial vision. For me, that's the clearest vision of the year, so I'm happy that's there, as it should be. Sean Baker as well. It's a good list. I'm maybe a little bit surprised of James Mangold being nominated, only because it's not as fancy of a directorial approach, I would say, maybe for that film. It's a fine nomination. I would have put in Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2, or certainly Edward Berger for Conclave. There's a lot of good choices here, but I would have probably preferred those two. The thing that's odd to me about Conclave is the strength of that film, above all, in my view, is the directorial vision and the composition of all the shots. And the 2 nominations Conclave missed were directing and cinematography, which to me makes no sense. I would have really liked to see Edward Berger in here, and Denis Villeneuve should be in here as well. The Jacques Audiard nomination is interesting, because he's such a great director. Because that film is really wild and risky and pulls off much of its conceit, and also it's quite messy. So I'm sort of conflicted if he deserves a nomination or not, because he swings for a lot and doesn't hit every ball. It's interesting, but for me, I'm thrilled to see Coralie Fargeat here, because if you're not knowing the directing of that film, just go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very excited to see her as well. And just looking forward to seeing her and the team from the film celebrating at the Oscars.
Yes.
I think with that type of body horror, we don't see it as commonly recognized in the bigger categories. So it's really nice to see that this year, and with the film that I really enjoyed. So
absolutely,
look forward to that for sure.
Yeah, good list, but we could have seen Edward Berger, Denis Villeneuve in there to make it even stronger list.
And then last that we're going to discuss today, the big category of Best Picture. So we have Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked.
Yeah, I mean, there were but 8 of these were widely expected to be nominated, so no surprise. The question mark was, would Nickel Boys get in or not? It did. And then the people thought maybe the other spot, maybe it would be Sing Sing, maybe it'd be A Real Pain, and it ends up being I'm Still Here, which is the shocker of the morning, no question, and it deserves the nomination. Just I don't know that the campaign team thought they'd get the nomination, so to see that in there is absolutely fantastic. It's a strong list for sure. In terms of who's well positioned to win, I think right now with the quantity of nominations, The Brutalist is well positioned. I'm still not convinced, even though Emilia Perez has the most nominations with 13, I still don't know that it's enough of a consensus choice to actually win Best Picture. I think Conclave is competitive. Also too, I would like to think Anora is competitive, because I can't find anybody that doesn't love Anora. It's a respectable list, no question. And also too, it's a bit of a miracle to see The Substance on this list. To imagine that a body horror film is on there is fantastic. It's a strong list. I'll be interested too to see people's reactions to Nickel Boys, because that film is not for all tastes. It'll be interesting to see people's reactions to it. It's definitely an effort to watch it. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, really good list overall. There's nothing in here, because sometimes when you're looking to fill 10, there's some years where there's maybe 8 or 9 strong films, and there's ones a bit weaker that gets in. These are all defensible, respectable films.
Yeah, just building on your comment for Nickel Boys, I was able to catch it a couple weeks ago, and I'm so happy that it is a film and that it exists. I read the book when it came out by Colson Whitehead and was just blown away by it. And so for more people to hear that story and learn about that piece of history, it is based on a true story in the US. The POV filming is definitely a hard thing to grasp. And it's been really interesting seeing some of the conversations around it and just how people get used to it, if they can get used to it, how it affects the storytelling in the film. So it'll be interesting to see that conversation develop for people to see it. And again, The Substance, very happy to see it here.
100%.
Really thrilled for that film. I know that it's a movie release. It is on the platform now, and we're also bringing it back to some theaters, I think, across the US. So it's good to see that kind of oomph behind it. People are just excited to go and seek it out at the theater, even though it is available on streaming. And hopefully it goes far this awards season. Yeah,
and Brutalist as well will now be quadrupling, if not more, its theater count over the weekend. So a lot of people get a chance to see that. I know some theaters are doing it in IMAX, which is a really good choice. And also, I'm Still Here is going to start slowly being released. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, we're going to have it at WIFF Presents to show to our audience. It's a really, really strong film coming to us from Brazil and the Brazilian filmmaker, Walter Salles. So that's a really good one. And then other ones, the rest of them are available at home right now for streaming. So maybe people want to catch Anora or Conclave or Dune Part 2, they're available to you. But solid list. We'll see where this goes. It's still an open race. It will move around, so we'll see how this goes over the coming weeks. But you've got a lot of deserving contenders in here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Vincent.
Thanks, Erika. Fun.
Some some insights on the nominations.
Yeah.
Next week, we do have some films that we're showing at the Capitol, Catch the Room Next Door and The Order, 2 really great films that we're excited to share with you. Tickets are available now at windsorfilmfestival.com or in person at the door 30 minutes prior to showtime. All film times are at windsorfilmfestival.com. And then keep an eye out for the Oscar shorts and I'm Still Here ticket and showtime announcements. We'll be showing those films this February. And we'll be back online to talk more awards.
Definitely.
Closer to March 2nd.
Can't wait.
Awesome. Thanks.